Neru stands with Nikki and Jin as one of my personal gods in the Vocaloid scene. To this day, Sekai Seifuku is easily my favorite album ever produced, and even since those early days, the man has made no shortage of breathtaking singles. That said, while Neru is an earth-shaking force in the Vocaloid world, it has been a long time since any of his music really hit me the way Reeducation or Terror had when I first heard them. You see, Neru has been a dominating force for most of my history with Vocaloid for two reasons: the thematic complexity of his lyrics and the compositional strength of his many powerful rock songs. When looking at the track list for Sekai Seifuku, you'll find it's filled with nothing but these kind of things. Rock ballads belting out powerful messages about depression, identity, and self-worth. Comparing Sekai Seifuku to Cynicism, one could be forgiven for thinking that this wasn't even the same artist. Everything from the tone and presentation to the aesthetic of Cynicism is in harsh contrast to that of Sekai Seifuku. Gone are Shido's slick and cool characters and PVs, and instead we have this bright and poppy visual style. Gone are the rock ballads, instead we have vaporwave dance music. Every part of this album and its presentation is so different from what was Neru's bread and butter style for the better part of 6 years, replaced instead with something completely foreign. It felt uncomfortable. I used to celebrate every one of Neru's releases, but suddenly the genre was all over the place and I found myself uninterested in the composition. But that was the point. You see, the tonal whiplash is a direct result of the different method of storytelling Neru is employing with his new album. All three of Neru's albums prior to Cynicism have had a similar method of storytelling, and with that, a similar sort of presentation and sound. Shosei Gekijo, Sekai Seifuku, and My Name is Love Song are all filled primarily with rock ballads, with the odd terror or terminating the world thrown in there for variety's sake. Accompanying that, the art and PVs are told straight, with a visual tone suitable for the tone of the music. In that regard, Cynicism is functioning just like any of Neru's other works. Something I want to make clear is that Snobbism, Let's Drop Dead, and in fact the better part of Cynicism as we understand it, are all fantastic works of storytelling if nothing else. While I certainly prefer the composition and the actual music of Neru's older pieces, the storytelling is just as airtight and layered as it's ever been. Neru's recent tonal shift in his music makes perfect sense when you understand that Law Evading Rock, the Let's Drop Dead duo, and Snobbism are all partner pieces acting towards the greater work that is Cynicism. To describe these works in their common denominator the simplest, they are all perfect works of satire. The following description and analysis is true of pretty much all of these songs, but for clarity's sake, let's take a look at Snobbism and see how the cogs of the machine are turning. Like the other tracks in the album, Snobbism uses satire to critique society. Put bluntly, Snobbism is about how we cope with our own worries by lashing out at others, how we look down on people and hurt them routinely as we go about our lives. This message is told, however, through biting satire. Consider the way something like Reeducation or How to World Domination told its story. The concept and theme are portrayed through surrogate characters experiencing the problems the song is about. Important to note, though, is that the characters are always portrayed as victims of the societal issues. Things like society's perfectionism destroying identity, or simply how depression tears away at you, witnessed from both the depressed and those observing the depressed, are shown clearly to be issues, problems that damage our society. Contrast that with Snobbism. The character in this song is no longer one of the victims. As opposed to the music showing how societal problems damage us, it shows people engaging in those very problems. Let's Drop Dead was a song about ignorant stagnation, sung from the perspective of people stagnating. Similarly, Snobbism is a song about societal aggression sung from the perspective of an aggressor. How then are the messages conveyed if there is no longer a relatable victim? Quite simple. Satire. Here is where the genre and tone of the music become important. Suddenly, the song about wasting away your life and youth is made fun, with loud vaporwave dance music. Aggression is not something to be resented, it's something to be celebrated. Let's make a scene. Leave vivid impressions by launching missiles. Put another way, instead of demonstrating a problem by showing the people who suffer due to said problem, it demonstrates the problem by showing you how ridiculous the people responsible are. Because they are responsible. Even within the realm of satire, though, the Cynicism tracks are fairly varied. Ryusei's art in Snobbism is strange, stylized, and unsettling. The movement is janky and the whole tone coloring builds a harsh and oppressive atmosphere. All of this, coupled with the variable depth of focus and the frequent grainy filters and effects, set the visual tone and key the audience into knowing that the ideas being conveyed are to be questioned. This is, mind you, the same guy who made the perfectly unsettling art for Drowning in a Wave of Sadness. Let's Drop Dead uses bright poppy art as a means of shaking off the severity of the song's message. Here, the aesthetic is used to make the circumstances being observed feel off, to key the audience into the nature of the song. Where Sekai Seifuku exists to show how society's faults and tendencies can damage others, Cynicism shows how these very problems are propagated by our own negligence. The fault isn't in some vague concept of society for making our lives worse. It's on us for not addressing our own problems. We shake off escapism, stagnation, and aggression. Celebrate it and embrace it. Sekai Seifuku looks upon the downtrodden and offers understanding, where Cynicism dares to ask the audience if you are in fact a part of the problem. If you blast this energetic music, laugh at how relatable the messages are, then perhaps you should take a step back and consider what you're actually saying about yourself. Consider that perhaps you are making the world worse. It's been nearly 9 years that we've had Neru and his music, and still to this day, it pushes us all to be better people. Listen to his tracks, and consider where you fall in the problem. Thank you.